beautiful.
Have you started Rosemary?
$5 million?
I haven't started it.
I wouldn't put $5 million in water.
I know. I even
Like
can't get.
3 weeks to germinate.
Yeah, it's supposed to be really easy to start from cuttings, and I've never gotten that.
Hi, Helen.
Hey there.
Congratulations.
Very much.
Started Rosemary.
$5 million?
I haven't started it.
I wouldn't put $5 million in water.
I know. I even
Like
can't get.
3 weeks to germinate.
Yeah, it's supposed to be really easy to start from cuttings, and I've never gotten that.
Hi, Helen.
Hey there.
Congratulations.
Very much.
Hey, how are you? Hello.
How are you?
Until we had security.
No.
Wait, you see the boss?
No. No.
Okay. So they took their mom back over there when she was.
All right, can everyone please take a seat, get settled in. I know you're all mingling, but I'm going to cut off your conversation. Okay, so I gathered everyone here today to enjoy the bounty of fall and the beautiful changing leaves, and just to celebrate life in this beautiful garden. But another reason I wanted everyone to come today is for my mother, Helen Lowe Metzman. This is her 10th year of directing this garden here, and she's done an unbelievable job in every possible way, and we'll get more into all of that by having a few of her favorite volunteers and workers over the past 10 years give her a little saying of their praise. So let's see, we have myself, Wendy, Hillary, and Molly will all be speaking, as well as Jim and myself. I said that already. So do you want to start?
Okay.
Okay. I'm going last.
Uh-oh.
And just to say, my mother is not, my mother and father are very different. She does not like attention. But every once in a while, she's just going to have to put up with that. So, are you comfortable there?
How about
Do you want to stand
handing
here?
the mic on? Yeah.
Stand here.
Okay, dear Helen, this is a little bit romantic and poetic. I hope you can handle it.
I have a bandana somewhere. Pulled out a dirty clean it.
Okay. I'm Molly, and I was at Thai Sophia with Helen, desk mates over the 3 years of study for a master's degree in botanical medicine. And then when Helen came here, I joined her as an intern and volunteer over the years, and I love it here, and I love Jim and Peggy. And this is a very special place, as you all know. Helen of the Green Farmacy Garden. Helen, before I start, sorry. There's 5 elements in here, okay? If you guys know the 5 elements or the 5 seasons of Chinese medicine, that was a big part of our training at Thai Sophia. Do you want me to go over that or just dive in?
No, go over.
Okay, just a sec. Okay. All right. So winter is water. Spring is chopping wood. Summer is dancing and fire and passion. Late summer is earth, returning to the earth and harvesting and appreciating. And fall is metal and wind. No, is that right? Oh, I might have goofed it up. Anyway, we'll get started. Helen has the earth beauty of a Native American princess blessed by many seasons of the sun. Helen has the graceful movement of the wind in the willow tree that allows her to receive the wisdom of the Far East, learning to let go while loving abundantly. Helen holds the mindful awareness of Gaia, Mother Ocean, within and in all creation, which allows her to be present to the pain, suffering, and destruction of humanity, yet at the same time inviting in God's love, peace, and hope for redemption. Helen devotes her energies with dedication to tending and nurturing all living beings, including but not limited to baby milk thistles and brown water snakes. Finally, Helen loves to celebrate, to partake in the joys of life. Creating beautiful art in solitude, sharing Shabbat with family, laughing and dancing and enjoying music with all of us. Dear Helen, we are so grateful for you. You grace our lives. May the long-time sun shine upon you. May all love surround you, and may the pure light within you guide your way on.
Molly and I, we have this little it's amazing. We have these little battles of being stronger than each other, but it's just loving battles. We just kind of she's the one who allowed the black haw over there to become the black haw because she didn't like it looking like it was a plant over there. But we have these, Molly and I have a kindred spirit of loving nature, loving, dealing with just people who are in need, and we spent all those years together learning and studying, and I'm forever grateful for our ongoing, long friendship, and I really appreciate you coming out here, even though you've got so much going on at your own home. So thank you. This is a little much for me. I won't say anything nice. Okay, good. So, wow, that's a tough act to follow, man. I got nothing prepared. So what I just want to say is I started working here in 2007 as a volunteer, and then I was fortunate enough to spend 2 years working here full time, and being with Jim and Peggy and Helen has taught me so much about the natural world, but mostly what Helen taught me is how to slow down and do things right. I spent so much of my life running from pillar to post, and I had a corporate job and kids and deadlines, and so I was always running, and Helen taught me to settle down and to just notice things and to just kind of be. So anyway, now I have Helen in my head all the time telling me to slow down, calm down, and do things right. And that's it. So thank you. Am I allowed to speak after this? This is Wendy. This is Wendy the Good Witch. You didn't get introduced to Wendy. And Wendy is my New England stoic, do-it-myself, DIY. She just really has this energy in her that I love to emulate, and I learned that from Wendy. It's just, I love the New England energy, and she is a go-getter, and she can do a lot. So I feel really blessed to have had Wendy here as a volunteer and as an employee. So thank you for coming. Am I allowed to do this? You don't have to speak. Okay, I won't. I mean, you can. Hillary, would you like to say something?
I also don't have a well-prepared speech like Wendy, and it just feels so good to be back here. My name's Hillary, and I worked at the Green Pharmacy for the past 2 years before moving on. We now are in Shepherdstown, starting our own herb farm. So this was really a stepping stone for me, and being able to work with Helen and Jim and Wendy and everybody has been such an incredible blessing. And Helen, you are like a walking encyclopedia. And even times when I was resistant to taking particular information in, like learning Latin, which I really didn't want to do, I'm glad that I did, because now I go places out in the world and I realize that I learned so much. And you and Jim both know so much that at the time sometimes it felt like you all were speaking a different language. And I thought, well, boy, I feel just dumb as a rock. And then, I go out into the world and I realize that I really did learn so much. So I just want to thank you, Helen. I mean, everything I've learned from you about the birds and the trees and the mushrooms, in addition to all the plants. And, you know, Wendy and I, we definitely gave Helen a run for her money because we are strong, opinionated women as well. And so, you know, I think it was really, for me, it was like therapy, coming into work every day and being here in this beautiful place and with you, you know, wise elder. And I have to tell, and I have to tell one funny story. At the end of the A terrace, there was this Kella plant, and the Kella plant looks exactly like Queen Anne's lace. It's also known as Ami Visnagi. Yay. And every time I saw that while I was weeding, I would pull out the Kella plant. And Helen would be like, Hillary, really patiently, Hillary, that's the Kella plant and that needs to stay here. And I'd go, oh, okay. And then I'd pull it again. And it happened like 2 or 3 times. Each time she would go and buy a new Kella plant and put it in and I would pull it out. And then one day, I mean, she was so awesome. Like, even in her maddest moment, she was like, I said, I know, I'm so sorry I pulled the Kella plant, and I totally did it again, even though I knew what it was. And she's like, I'm so mad at you, but I love you. I can't talk to you right now. And she just walked away. And, of course, by lunchtime, she wasn't even mad at all. And I searched for a Kella plant, but I couldn't find one. But anyways, I love you dearly, sister, and I'm so glad to be here. The Kella plant came back on its own accord. I knew it would. We have 2 of them. They reseeded. They're all fine. I told you it would come back. This is Hillary. She is an amazing. She might not have, she didn't know her Latin, but she had wisdom beyond belief. I have to tell you, I learned so much from her while we were learning from each other. And she's a real goddess, I have to tell you. Go out to Shepherdstown. She has Sacred Roots Sanctuary that she started on her own with Kier and Maya. Yeah. And they've done a lot with this land. She'll have a gathering. She has lots of gatherings. She's a community activist, organizer. Everyone should get to know Hillary.
And John too.
John's been working there.
Little John.
And John, who built everything on the land with here.
John, woo!
Jared would like to say something. So Hillary and Wendy were the full part-time employees of the past few years, and this year Jared and myself have been under Helen's care in the garden, working here each week. So Jared would like to say something as well, and then we'll have Jim say something, and then I'll present you with the gift.
Yeah?
All right.
Wow.
I didn't know we were doing speeches either, but I was very lucky to get this job. I met Helen years ago in the woods. She would be my only competition wild foraging mushrooms around here. So she was my arch nemesis for years. And then I was very fortunate to learn from her this year in gym. And like Hillary, she's helping me a lot and very patient with my Latin struggling and slight dyslexia when it comes to that. But yeah, it's been a real joy working here the last season, and trying to learn as much as I can and absorb as much as I can. And Helen's really a treasure when it comes to all naturalist aspects, from the birds to the frogs, and I'm just trying to soak up as much as I can. But yeah. So.
Let's hear your best frog.
Jiggerum.
Yeah. That is all. Thank you, Helen, for the awesome year.
Okay, one more thing. So Jared has really inspired me towards the next generation. It was true. I would run into Jared in the woods down at the reservoir, and I didn't know I was his arch nemesis. However, I was always with so much technology going on, it really hits my heart as an environmental educator that the youth
which is now the young adults and adults, are really like gathering the wisdom of the woods still. It's not just going to like being on monitors all the time. And Jared has his own garden. He's a market gardener, he's an organic farmer, so in addition to doing the garden here, he's also growing vegetables in his own place on his own. It's very, you know, with all the perils of nature. So I have faith in humankind.
And the millennials.
And the millennials. So it warms my heart.
And now for Dr. Jim Duke. Drum roll, please.
Well, I woke up this morning wondering not what I was going to say, but could I make it to the bathroom again? And I didn't even think about preparing a line because I prepared it last week. And so I was wondering, shall I get maudlin, memorial, and weeping and heard me? No. I dug up a shitty ditty. I can't memorize it yet.
You want a hand?
You can give it this later.
This is a gift from Jim as a garden bonus, but here's his poem.
Oh, yes.
Wow, thank you.
My shitty
I'm
ditty.
gonna look at it.
We call it long ago and far away.
Speak up, you all hear him? Yeah. Speak up.
We call it long ago and far away, and it's written by a non-poet, October 25th, 2060. I call it Father.
You want to read it? Okay.
Told you.
Long ago and far away, I called it Father Nature's Pharmacy, but that seems a misnomer to me, since Helen... Misnomer to me. Since Helen treated it motherly, it's Mother Nature's Pharmacy. Asking your lenience, I beg your pardon, she's the Jewish mother of the garden. You want to say something? Your father would like to say something as well.
When Alana was about 1 year old, I received a letter from Eric's cousin Maxie with stationery by the Herbal Vineyard, written by Jim Duke, going out to Seeds of Change in Arizona in regard to the ethnobotanical work that he was doing. And seeing that I was a young woman and with young little children, I really always wanted to be like Jane Goodall, as everyone knows, and be out in the woods and studying plants, and animals. And I'm like, I have to meet this person. Probably many of you have heard this story, but I found out that he lived right 10 minutes from my home. And they finally put in a Burtonsville Giant because there wasn't any grocery stores out here, and I would go down Murphy Road to get there. And I knew where his address was because it was on the letterhead. And I would see this, and I so wanted to turn into this driveway. But I wouldn't because I was shy and frightened about meeting a man of his stature and his knowledge that I just kept passing by. And finally one day there was that Herbal Vineyard sign that's by the door there that was out, and I'm like, here's my chance. And I came down the driveway, and I thought the gallery was going to be open with Peggy's artwork in it, but it wasn't. It was Jim all the way in the back room where he is now, all the time compiling data. And he so kindly got up and he walked me out to the square garden where all the nettles are now. And he picked me some sage. He brought me back in and he sang me El Condor Pasa by a Peruvian folk song. that Simon and Garfunkel memorialized, and I walked away. I just felt so like enamored by the fact that this man who worked for the USDA was so close to me. But you know, I was still young, and I was in my young 30s, and still pretty bashful, and didn't come back. But I just kind of retained this memory. And one day I was driving back to the Giant, and I saw Jim walking around the yard, and I'm like, oh, I pulled in, just like my heart was pounding. And I went in, and he had just come out with the book, The Green Pharmacy, and he brought me down, and I bought a first edition of the book. And inside it says, come back and work in the garden one day. And that was before the garden was even built. And when I kept going back down to that Giant, I noticed that they put up black plastic along here, and they were beginning the garden. And in 2002, I signed up for a trip here to the garden as a tour, as I do now. I give all these tours to people who come. And I befriended Holly Vogel, and I went with Jim and Holly to the Amazon, Peru, and I just began this incredible relationship with this man, Jim Duke, and he's the one who's wise and knows all the Latin. I also screw up on the Latin. I can, you know, but he taught me so much, his stories of his life in Panama and China, and I could go on this fantasy around the world with him, and it was just amazing. I went with him to Peru, to Costa Rica, to Cuba. I drove Peggy and Jim to Maine and down to North Carolina. We would botanize, almost like got us killed, because we're like, oh, that's a, you know, Isaetus tinctoria. You know, it'd just be like everything. We were constantly getting off at rest stops, and we wouldn't even get to the rest stop, and we'd be looking at all the plants along the road, and it was just like, it's really been a really amazing thing. And he has still this incredible, brilliant memory of just Latin and stories, etc. And these plants here that Jim was all a part of Jim's vision, and they have taught so many people from Jim. I go back and I look at his videos, and it's just a wealth of knowledge, but it's also wisdom in these plants. And I just feel so incredibly lucky that now every time I drive past his driveway, I come in. So, you know, that's and we were a little bit of crybabies together, so that's nice. Yeah. So anyway, well, thank you all for coming. I didn't realize this was a party about me. I thought this was a garden party, but I cherish this moment with everyone. So thank you.
We're not done yet.
You're not done yet.
So a couple more people that want to share.
Oh, a couple more people. Oh.
Careful.
This is my father.
Careful, my baby.
I want to introduce my father. It's due to my father and my mother is where my love of nature came. Thank you.
I've known Helen longer than anybody else here. As a matter of fact, I even think I remember her conception.
Okay. We went through that.
Which occurred
No, don't tell.
about a month and a half after her mother and I were married. When she went to the University of Vermont, she originally started in forestry. She quickly realized that forestry was not what she really wanted to do. She thought that people who were involved in forestry were involved in preserving forests, not cutting them down. And so she got into these, she changed her major, and they had a program at the University of Vermont where you could make up your own major. And she created a course in environmental education. They had never had a course in environmental education, at least at the University of Vermont. She graduated in 1980, and that gives you an idea of how things have progressed. It's considered to be one of the most important courses that's now given. And she worked after graduating in various jobs in New England, and she met Eric who lived only around the corner from us. They didn't know each other despite the fact that they're only a year apart. And I just wanted to say that I am very proud of you, and I know that your mother, who died in May, and who is a tremendous gardener, amongst other things, would be very proud of you also.
Yeah, my mother. She just passed, and she's here with us today.
Okay, I need some.
Now.
Alright, you may
This
sit.
is
Let me just speak. Okay, I prepared something because I won't be able to speak on the fly.
a shrubbery.
Shrubbery. Okay. Thank you everyone for being here. I would like to especially give thanks for the volunteers who have come throughout the season and seasons beyond. This garden is not just a living museum, as we fondly call it. It truly is an oasis tucked ever so humbly in between two bustling cities, where our volunteer community is nourished through hours spent weeding, pruning, sharing, and of course eating together. As a token of gratitude, Jim has offered to share his Green Pharmacy book through his online format. And if you're interested and if you volunteered here, just come talk to me afterwards and I can set you up with that. It's a treasure to have on your disposal, if that's still okay with you, Jim. Okay. All right, so I'll just begin. So, Mother Metzman, I present you today with a smoky Saskatoon serviceberry tree, or as you would surely follow with an Amelancher alnitholnia tree. Originally, I chose the Amelancher for its obvious common name connotation, the serviceberry. You have dedicated the past decade of your life to directing this garden, and at least 3 years prior to steady volunteering. The unconditional service you provide goes well beyond... Shit, oh my god.
Good.
Slow down. Slow down.
Ugh. Alright. I can't be emotional. Okay. The unconditional service you provide goes well beyond tending plants on a part-time schedule. Your love, patience, and detailed care weaves through every aspect of this operation. From leading tours, managing garden crews, photographing each monarch chrysalis, maintaining relationships with all the dukes. Knowing the complex nature of the nature surrounding us, down to eliminating the last mealybug breakout with Q-tips rubbing alcohol on strained eyes. You've been known to drop everything at home to run over to the garden, to check on the greenhouse temperatures, and to comfort your beloved rosemary with another layer of bubble insulate while the polar vortex rages in the dead of winter.
Jewish mother of the garden.
We're getting there. The native serviceberry tree has many names, though it's often used Saskatoon one is reportedly an Angelicization from the Cree language word called Missaquatumina, which means the fruit of the tree of many branches. Just as this deciduous bush sprouts countless branches, each adorned with beautiful white flowers in spring, you continue sprouting new branches that bear the fruits of your expansive knowledge, allowing all those who are lucky enough to walk beside you a delicious taste of your generous, plentiful wisdom. This is a gift for you to place wherever you see fit. We will dig this tree into the Yin Yang Valley of the Green Pharmacy Garden as a symbol of your everlasting presence and sweet productivity. I would also like to present you with a plaque. I got a bamboo plaque made because we're lovers of bamboo in this garden. They hold up all of our plants that are trying to, go on with their lives, and we have to keep them for the tours to be upright and standing. So here's your plaque. So I'll read it. in honor of Helen Lowe Metzman, beloved Jewish mother of the plants, for dedicating a decade of service and love to the Green Farmacy Garden. So that's a place under your service berry wherever you like it. It's just a gift for you. Although Jim has found much humor and sincerity in decorating you with this Jewish mother nickname, well, you were my Jewish mother first. You are the reason I'm here in so many ways. You brought me into this wild world. You encouraged me to dig around with the worms and soil when I was little. Will you read this?
No, I'm all due.
You gave me shots of echinacea and orange juice when no other moms around were. You taught me how to identify plants, not only by their scientific names, but by clues in their shapes and structures. You raised butterflies inside the house so we could watch the unbelievable cycle of life. You brought us the reservoir to the red banks of the Monocacy River, to mountains all over the world, to incite a deeper understanding of the peace found within nature. You sat me at the bottom of a redwood to humble me. You demonstrated how to put a tiny seed in the ground, how to water it, watch it sprout, and let it grow without judgment, just enough guidance and protection to set it on its path to maturity, so it too can develop seeds that'll roam like a tumbleweed. You are my constant inspiration. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity. I'm incredibly proud of all you've accomplished at the Green Farmacy and in your life. Whichever path you choose next, I'm positive you will deliver the same unshakable dedication you have gifted us all here. I love you.
Should be so blessed to have an incredible child like Alana, and also my other son Jonathan, and my son Jonathan. But it's true, she is a strong, independent female underneath all these tears, and I didn't know she would follow me in my footsteps coming here into the garden. She found this journey, I guess, through either being marinated in it, because she never seemed that interested in it when she was little, but something sparked in her along her journey when she was in Colorado, and she started bringing home tinctures and making them, and I knew that the wilds were encroaching upon her, and I'm really, really blessed to have you as my daughter. Wherever you may, I call her my tumbleweed and I call her a wandering Jew. And she's still in the process of figuring it out, where she's going to be, and I support that journey of unknowing. And that is something, as Molly said, we learn at Thai Sophia, that it's good to just be in the unknowing. You don't have to always know where you're going to be, because you are just being. And I truly support this journey in her and wherever she wants to go. Just be kind.
All right, everyone. Thank you for sitting through that.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so yeah, we can start the music. There's still plenty of food and drinks. Thank you all for being here again. I'm grateful for all of you, so thank you.
Yeah. And also the garden crew also includes John Duke. He's standing back in their shadow. Yeah. But I feel as if John has helped me immensely this year and last year and the year before with everything from our irrigation to just being here when the greenhouse in the middle of those polar vortexes, et cetera, et cetera. So thank you, John. Much appreciated. Yeah. And little John. Where are you, little John? And all the volunteers, all of you that come out here every year. Debbie, I see you're over there too. So,
all right,
okay.
Eat, drink,
and
be
Sam,
merry.
and Sam and Joseph, thank you too.
Okay, that's enough about me. I'm done.
Every 10 years, she has to get like some sort of dose of that.
Okay.
Some healthy dose of